I was wrong about the inflation data, and now crypto markets are crashing. And it's not only crypto markets that are crashing, it's world markets are crashing. And I guess what we should do today is we should look at whether there is some hope here, whether the markets maybe misunderstood the inflation numbers, or whether this could be the beginning of another leg down in the markets. And today, I've got a big show for you guys. I wasn't going to do a show. As you know, I'm traveling here. I'm in Lisbon. I'm here for NEARCON. But there's so much juicy information here today that we have to do a show. So, bitches, get out of bed. Let's do it.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
Some people are mad at me because I'm late, and other people are just happy to see me because I'm here and I'm doing a live stream when I wasn't even scheduled to do a live stream. So let's decide, which camp do you fall into? Do you fall into the camp that's upset with me for being 4 minutes late? Or do you fall into the camp that says, oh my goodness, Ran is here and he's bringing us crypto love and his crypto wisdom on a day like this? And this is when you need us most. And here I am bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom. So let's do this. Listen, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, because when you watch the show, you're going to realize that this is the #1 alpha per minute show in crypto in the world. So subscribe to the channel. Then once you've subscribed to the channel, hit the bell notification, because then you'll know when we're coming to you live. And today we had a whole lot of live streams that were unscheduled completely. Sheldon even traded the CPI. Nutcase, trading CPI. Who does that? What kind of a degen does that? How many of you are actually trading with him though? I know. Exactly. Oh my God, Ran is here. That's what I want to hear. Otherwise, yeah, like this content. Give us some crypto love. Again, we're shadow banned. We're going to beat YouTube shadow ban. That's what's just going to happen. It's not going to slow us down. We're just going to do this and we're going to get stronger, even though they keep shadow banning us. Who the hell gives a shit? All right, let's go. Let's talk about markets, because there's a lot going on. That's what's going on the crypto markets. And this here is what's going on the world markets. It's an absolute bloodbath that's going on out there. Let's look at the numbers. So let's look at the numbers and the charts. So you've got Bitcoin. Bitcoin was at about 22,870, almost 23,000. And now we've got this big red candle, which has brought us down to 20,656. I mean, we're not back at the trend line. We're still clear of this breakout. But one thing that we are seeing more and more is that this is a market to be range trading. So if you look at this market and you look at the range that we've been in since the correction, which was the 14th of June. So let's just quickly draw this range so you can actually look at this range. And then you'll understand probably what the best trading strategy is right now. So you've got that range over there. In fact, let's just take that away and draw this line for you guys over here. And you can kind of see what this market's doing. So every time it gets near $18,000 and $18,000, $19,000, it bounces and it goes up. And every time it bounces, it gets pretty close to about 22, 23, 24,000, and then it goes down again. And this is clear for bear markets. For bear markets, you always get this range trading. It goes on and on and on, and it starts to bore you. And most people actually don't capitulate because of the price action, but they capitulate because of the lack of real price movement. So get used to this, guys, because this is going to be a marathon. It's not going to be a sprint, but it's a good trading opportunity, because if you know this, every time it gets to the 18,800, 19,000, wherever it's been in the last couple of days, here you go, 18,649, you buy, and you kind of know that it's going to get up to the top of the range at some point, right? So that's what's happening on Bitcoin. Then we look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is getting absolutely slaughtered. It's down 5%. 5% must be one of the worst days for the NASDAQ this year. Maybe not the worst, but definitely one of the worst days for NASDAQ this year. So bloodbath on the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones, look at that big red candle, down 3.21%. Now trading at 1,041 points down. That is huge. I mean, that is a huge bloodbath for the stock markets. And then because of inflation, this chart, which had broken through the parabola, remember this chart that we said has gone parabolic, which is the Dixie, broke through the parabola on the way down, and today we've given back all those amazing gains. I was kind of hoping that it would get down to this level over here and it would break down this level, but that would only happen if the inflation numbers went our way, and the inflation numbers never went our way. In fact, I was totally wrong about inflation. I wasn't the only one who was wrong. In fact, lots of people were wrong. So I forecast inflation to come in at 7.9%. Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse agreed with me, and only one company, BMO, forecast inflation to be at 8.3%. And now today we got the CPI inflation, and the CPI inflation is not looking good. It's actually at 8.3%. The consensus forecast was 8.1%. So the question now is whether these inflation numbers, how scary are these inflation numbers? And to me, they're much scarier than they look on face value, because on the one hand, we didn't have a decrease in inflation as much as we expected the decrease in inflation. So everyone forecast a decrease in inflation, but we didn't get a decrease in inflation that was as big as we forecast. And that's the first part of it. But it gets a little bit scary, and I want to show you where it gets a little bit scary and why the market is actually stressing. So let's go through the data first. First thing is the inflation numbers, the CPI, 8.3% versus 8.1%, which is estimated. The core inflation was 6.3%, and it was estimated at 6.1%. So it's, again, both core and headline inflation higher than expectations, which was a bit of a problem. That was the first part of it. If you look at the real CPI report, look at these numbers. Fuel in the last year up 69%, gas up 33%, gasoline up 25.6%, electricity up 16%, food at home 13.5%. That's what makes up the numbers. But now this is where, for me, this gets really, really scary. So this is, pay attention here, because this is what most people aren't seeing, and those that are listening to the show and watching the show, you guys are going to be able to see right through this. So very important that you have a look at this. This is what makes up the inflation data. So for those of you on mobile phones or can't see, energy is this orange or pink or whatever color that is. Food is yellow. Commodities excluding food is this greeny color. Services excluding energy is this blue color, and that's what makes up the total CPI reading. And if we look at the CPI reading, what we can see is that the blue, which is services, are increasing in price, and increasing in price quite a bit. The green, the commodities excluding food and energy, you could kind of say pretty much the same. What got reduced a lot is the energy, and that's what brought down inflation. So if you analyze this chart and you say, hold on, if the energy prices were the same as the energy prices were last month, where would this inflation number be? And the answer is that the inflation number would be higher than it was last month. So what brought down the inflation was actually that a big drop in the energy numbers, right? So that's what brought down the inflation. If you look at the rest of the numbers, if you look at the services, you look at food, kind of pretty much the same, maybe a bit higher. What brought it down was energy. So that is what brought down the inflation numbers. The problem is that those energy numbers aren't real. And the reason why those energy numbers aren't real is because what Joe Biden and his administration have been doing is they've been depleting the strategic oil reserves that the US has. So the US has this strategic bunch of oil reserves that they keep in case of wars and situations like we're in at the moment. And what you can see is that the Biden administration has been depleting the strategic oil reserves to sell them into the market to bring down the price of oil. And what they've done is that they've depleted the oil reserves to levels which I don't think have been seen since, let's have a look here. Let's just quickly look in when were the numbers last at 442? They haven't been there since the 1980s. 1984 was the last time that the oil reserve was this low. And so if we look at the numbers again, in context of what I've just showed you, what you can see is that the Biden administration is actually manipulating inflation. They're manipulating inflation by reducing the energy component here artificially by depleting the oil reserves. The problem is that now the oil reserves are getting to very, very, very low levels, in fact, scary levels. And so what the Biden administration did was they made an announcement that they're going to buy oil at $80 to try and refill the reserve, because you can't have a situation where the reserve is not full. And as soon as they did that, bang, you got a big green candle on oil. And now oil is back at $93. So now the Biden administration is screwed. They're now caught between a rock and a hard place, because inflation actually isn't coming down. if you look at the inflation numbers and if you analyze the inflation numbers properly and you remove the effect of the Biden depleting the strategic oil reserves that the United States has, the US is in huge trouble. But they don't want to admit this, as usual, because they are the Biden administration. So what do? They're celebrating these inflation results. Says Biden put out a statement. He said, exactly 4 weeks ago, I signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law. So today, we're celebrating. I don't know what you're celebrating. And if this is your celebration, I don't want to come to your party. You're celebrating this. You're celebrating the inflation results, but your stock market is down 5%. Crypto is down much more, but look at what's going on, while the Biden administration is actually celebrating. And he's going to deliver remarks. We got a statement from Joe Biden. It says, look, we managed to keep inflation, we managed to keep costs. I just want to find, today's data shows more progress in bringing global inflation data down in the US economy. Overall, prices have been essentially flat in our country these last 2 months. That is welcome news for American families with more work still to do. So what they're doing is they're trying to get the American people to believe that they are reducing inflation, and they're doing it by reducing the price of energy by depleting the oil reserves. Problem is the oil reserves are now running out. And here we are, oil prices now jumped up because they know that the Biden administration has to replenish those oil reserves. Absolutely crazy. You got to be smarter than the others there. You can't be celebrating this shit. And that is why the market's worried, because the market has seen right through Joe Biden's tactics. They know that inflation is made up of all those components, and they can see that the inflation numbers are being brought artificially down. Now, it's important to remember that our friends at the Fed have their meeting on the 21st of August. And that's when they're going to discuss the future of interest rates. Now, you remember that when they were talking about interest rates, I've always said that they're going to raise interest rates by 75 basis points, right? I always said it's going to be 75 basis points. And there was a time when it was 50-50 towards 50 and 75. And I said, that's bullshit. It's going to be 75 basis points. Today, before the FOMs, before the inflation announcements, there was a 98 or 99% chance that rates were going to be increased by 75 basis points. 75 banter points, 75 basis points. For those of you who don't think I see you in the comments, I see every single comment, and that's why I said banter fam. Now, we are in a situation where the inflation numbers are, where the interest rates, the predicted interest rate that's going to happen at the Fed's meeting on the 21st, when they have the FOMC meeting, is 78% are calling for 75 basis points. 22% are now calling for 1 full percentage point increase in interest rates. I think that we're still going to see a 75, but the problem is that we've given the Fed the license to keep increasing by 75. And I'm not the first person to say that. If you look at this, Nomura is the first bank to call for a 100 basis point rate hike increase. The more important thing is that the Fed's funds future projection is pricing in 4.5% in Q1. What that means is that we should have interest rates at 4% by the end of the year. So that's what the market's worried about. The market's really worried about very, very, very high interest rates by the end of the year. And it does feel right now like nothing that the Fed is doing is working to decrease inflation. The inflation numbers just aren't going down. After the FOMC meeting on the 21st of August, we've got the US PCE, which is, remember, this is the indicator that the Fed look at to judge inflation, because it removes energy costs. Last time it was 6.3%. Let's hope that it comes down, but I don't think that it's going to come down very much more. So that's the first hurdle we had to get through this week, and didn't do so well. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Kamala Harris. We did it, Joe. We did it. You did it. You did it, Joe. You did it. All right, let's talk about the ETH merge. Yes. Okay, let's not talk about the ETH merge. Let's talk about two things that are probably more important than the ETH merge. First thing is, if you're not a part of our Discord, let's talk about two things. If you're not already part of our Discord, go to our Discord, join our Discord group here. It's the best Discord in crypto. You can sign up just by going to this over here. If you do sign up, you will join. Oh man, okay, I am signed up, but you will join about 18,000 people which gets Sheldon's calls, Kyle's calls, and everybody else's calls absolutely free. Also, before we carry on with the show, I know there's a lot we have to talk about. Remember I said to you, we have a community member. His name is Freddie. He is a paraplegic. He got hit by a car 27 years ago. And he's a huge Banter fan. In fact, let me show you some pictures, just so you get a feel for who this guy is. And I mean, I know I'm interrupting the show, but it's all about people. We're all about a community. So here in the wheelchair is Freddie. Freddie is a paraplegic. He is paralyzed from the neck down, so he can't move any part of his body. He trades. He watches Banter all the time, and he trades using his mouth. So like you can see, that's how he trades. I'll show you some pictures. That's him in his house. He travels in this wheelchair. Now, this wheelchair needs a special car to be transported. Otherwise, he becomes immobile. And the car that Freddie's been using is now broken. So he needs to get it repaired. The cost to get it repaired was approximately $3,000. Sheldon and I paid for Freddie's car to be repaired. But we don't want him to stress about these things. Like, we just think that like someone who's got such great spirit doesn't need to stress about stuff like this. And so what we did was we created an ETH address where you can send ETH tokens or BNB tokens. It's over here. If you want to make any kind of donation, even if it's $10, $20, $5, $15, $100, whatever you want to give, let's just change someone's life. Come on, guys. We're a great community. We've all got enough, thank God. Let's help other people and let's try and get quality of life to one of our community members. So it's all about the people. So I think let's do this. Now let's get on with the show. All right, so that's that. Do it. I know you're thinking about it. Do it. Do something good today. Change someone's life today. It'll come back to you 100 times. I promise you. ETH merge happening very, very, very soon. I mean, you're talking about 1 hour, 1 day, 7 hours, 42 minutes, and 31 seconds before the ETH merge. I've seen multiple countdowns. This one says 1 day, 10 hours, 2 minutes. So we've got to keep watching the blocks. This is the predicted block that it's going to happen in. And what we're seeing ahead of the ETH merge is that retail is now starting to search for the ETH merge. So this is always a good time to be exiting the trade. Remember, when retail start getting into the ETH trade, you want to be away from the ETH trade. And that's what the smart money is actually doing. The smart money is actually starting to move into other narratives. You can see this is the Sol ETH chart. And what you can see is that people have said, look, we've milked this ETH trade. This ETH trade has gone up 100% in the last couple of months. Now it's time to start moving the capital. And so the smart money is starting to move into places like NEAR, Solana. We'll talk about NEAR in a second, because obviously I'm here in Lisbon for the NEAR Protocol conference. Really, really, really an amazing conference. We'll talk about that in a sec. But what you can see is the smart money is starting to pivot out of Ethereum. And they're saying, look, we've had a great trade on this ETH merge trade, but now there's a lot of risks. What are the risks? Well, the first risk is that we get this move from proof of work to proof of stake, but we carry on mining the proof of work chain. And that poses a huge risk because there's a thing called, for example, a relay risk. And that means a replay risk. And the replay risk is when a transaction gets shared on both networks, both the proof of work and the proof of stake. So people are starting to realize a whole lot of these risks and they're kind of saying, look, the upside's been priced in. The downside is that something goes wrong, and something can go wrong because we're dealing with software. And if something does go wrong, I don't think it's going to be catastrophic. It's just going to mean a little bit of downtime. And so I think people are saying, look, let's get out of this. And the smart money is starting to move into other protocols. You can see there's been a massive move to Solana. There was a massive move to NEAR. In fact, let me try and find you a NEAR ETH chart. Let's see if we can get something like that. Okay, here we go. I got a NEAR ETH chart. So you can see that the money is starting to flow from here. The money is starting to flow back into all the other protocols. I was actually looking at, in fact, just quickly, what you'll realize is that when the merge happens, number one, you've got to have your tokens either on a ledger or a Trezor or on an exchange that actually supports the proof of work chain split. And one of the exchanges that supports the proof of work chain split is Binance, which is a sponsor of our show, of course. They're saying, look, when the ETH merge happens, there's going to be an ETHW. The ETHW ticker is going to be the proof of work mainnet. And so what they're going to do is they're going to stop deposits and withdrawals, which will be suspended for 1 hour before the merge, just to make sure that everything is going to be safe, right? So that's what they're doing. They're going to suspend it. And a lot of protocols are going to be suspended. If you see protocols suspending deposits, withdrawals, and movements of Ethereum, don't worry. It doesn't mean that the ETH network has gone down. It just means that exchanges are adopting a cautious approach. And primarily, they're going to adopt a cautious approach because of the proof of work split, because we may get 2 tokens. And if you do get 2 tokens, right now, what the market is telling you is that the proof of work token is actually worth about 2.5% of the ETH network. So for every 1 Ethereum, which is now valued at $1,800 or $1,700, 2.5% will be valued on the new thing. So about 45, 50 bucks is the price of the, just under 50 bucks, 45 bucks is the price of the ETH proof of work token. If you want it, make sure your tokens are on a ledger or a Trezor or on an exchange that actually supports the split. If your exchange doesn't support the proof of work and proof of stake split, it means you're not going to get the proof of work token. So be careful, trade carefully. I know a lot of you degens have been borrowing Ethereum. So putting USD into Aave, borrowing Ethereum so that you can get the split. I know that because you're a bunch of degens. Lending rates have gone through the roof as a result, as we all know. So just be careful. I wouldn't be playing this trade now because I think it's too much of a risky trade. I would stay away from this trade. And I think the smart money is starting to move their money to other protocols. And I mean, I saw that one of the protocols was Solana. I just looked at Solana, and Solana's become an absolute NFT degen chain. It's become like, I know they wanted it to be a DeFi chain, but it's actually become like a degen NFT crazy chain. Look at this. This is the volume of Solana NFTs. And I mean, you look at the number of active addresses starting to grow again. You look at NFT mints exploding, and I mean, as you see, so a lot of stuff going into Solana. So that's where it looks like the smart money is going, near Solana, all the other L1 protocols. The not so smart money. There's also the smart money, which is going to good protocols, and then there's like not so smart money. And the not so smart money, you know where the not so smart money is going? They're following hash rate. So what they're saying is look, hash rate, miner hash rate. Remember the proof of work miners now have 2 options. They can either switch off their Ethereum miners and throw them away, or they can switch them off and they can start mining some other chain that uses the same computers, the same GPUs, right? That's what the options are if you are an Ethereum miner. Now, if you are an Ethereum miner, you spent a lot of money on these machines. You want to try and get a return. So what the miners are doing is they're moving their hash power to other chains. I told you this the other day. What are the chains? Well, you can see that Ethereum Classic has gone from 32 terahashes to 56 terahashes. So 50% increase just in August. I mean, look at this chart for the year. And when this happens, the issue is that the price of Ethereum Classic has gone from $13 to $35. It's 3x. And I think this is a stupid trade because I think what people are saying is they're following hash power and they're saying, look, because the miners are going to go there, I'm going to invest my money there. But it's not the right trade because the right trade is to follow users, to follow consumer adoption, because otherwise, what are these miners actually securing? And it's not only Ethereum Classic. You can see it in Ethereum Classic. You can see it in Flux. Okay, so Flux is a great project, but look at the move in hash rate. So I think here they're measuring it in mega hashes or even smaller. But you can see that it started off here and the hash power has gone to here. Let's quickly look at the price of Flux. Okay, so let's look at the price of Flux and let's see what the price of Flux has been doing. Okay, so price of Flux in the last 180 days is up from 47 cents to $1.10. So it's almost doubled. That's not the only one. So there are others. There's Ergo. So look at Ergo. Look at the Ergo's hash rate, gone from 8.9 terahashes all the way to 25 terahashes. So the miners have gone to Ergo, and let's just see what the price of Ergo has done. All of these, in my mind, are stupid trades. To be honest, I would short these now. After the merge, they may go slightly up, and then people are going to realize, hold on a second, what are we actually buying here? We're buying dead chains where no one's actually doing anything because the miners are moving their hash power there. To me, it sounds crazy. Let's follow the fundamentals. Let's follow the smart money. Let's follow the developers. Let's forget about where the miners are going. The miners aren't going to change the trajectory of the adoption of a coin, and we've got to follow adoption. We shouldn't be following hype and stuff like that. Anyway, so decide what you want to be. Decide what you want, whether you want to be smart money or dumb money. Dumb money is buying hash power at the moment. I hope these miners don't come and kill me. Dumb money is buying hash is following hash rate at the moment. Smart money is saying, look, the ETH trade is finished. Let's get out of here. Let's move to the other layer ones where a lot of stuff's happening. Solana is exploding. Another one that is absolutely exploding is NEAR. Now, you know, we're in Lisbon right now for the NEARCON, which is the annual DevCon. And it's absolutely amazing. I came here with small expectations. Let's say small expectation. I've known that NEAR are a bunch of great builders. So I know that the technology is very, very good. I know that they're a bunch of great builders, but I've often worried about their marketing and their ability to create and build a huge community. And what I've realized when I'm here is that they've turned it around. What I've seen here is I've seen a unique opportunity to invest in something very early. It's the same vibes that I got from Solana in the early days, or the same vibes that I got from Ethereum in the early days. What is that? It is a base layer. Now, in the case of NEAR, the base layer actually works. So it's not like Ethereum or Solana, where Solana is on a mainnet beta or whatever you want to call it, or it's not exactly a mainnet. Ethereum, which works, but sharding doesn't work, and it's going to take 2 years to get sharding. Here you've got a layer one, which actually works. It works, it does transactions, it's scalable, it's decentralized, it's fast, it has sharding. So it actually works, okay? So, and then for the last couple of years, they've been building the base layer applications that are required to get this thing to go to the inflection point and start moving up. They've been building Aurora, which is the EVM compatibility. They've been building Pagoda, which is the developer tools. So they've got a whole lot of these developer tools. They've got a bridge with Substrate. They've got Aurora, which is a bridge with EVM. And this thing works. And when I spoke to all the developers at the conference, the one thing they kept saying to me is, you know, the one thing about NEAR is it's just the easiest blockchain. It's just an easy blockchain to build on. It works. There's no downtime. Everything works. There's no downtime. And it's just an easy blockchain to build on. And when you look at the stats, this is the stats that they presented. And I think the stats are mind-blowing. So if you look at where they were a year ago when they had their NEARCON, they had 1 million active accounts. Today they got 19 million active accounts. They had 250 developers. Today they got 1,500 developers. They got over 800 projects. They're doing 200 million transactions, which is 8 times what they were doing last year. And their total value locked has also gone up. So all in all, my takeout around NEARCON, and I mean, there have been many announcements this week. Tether announced that they were launching on NEAR. There's been funds that have been announced which are launching on NEAR today. For all of you degens, and let's just have a look at the price of SweatCoin. SweatCoin, which is an application, a move to earn application, which has 130 million downloads, and I think it has 30 million active users. They launched their SweatCoin today, and that's okay. That's up today. Don't buy it. I know Fred bought it. He's going to get slaughtered because this is going to come down. But I haven't yet done a full analysis. In fact, tomorrow I'm meeting the founders of SweatCoin. I'll bring you guys a full analysis on SweatCoin after I've met the founders and understand it properly. But for now, all I'm trying to show you is that if you're looking for a layer one that actually works, that's fast, that's decentralized, that has sharding, that's very easy to onboard people to, NEAR seems to be it. And with NEAR, you can code in Java, you can code in Substrate, you can code in Rust. You're not limited to the language that you can code. Everyone is welcome and everything works on NEAR. And as I say, the feeling I get is that this thing is about to explode. And so I'm going to be moving a lot of my ETH money and even some of my Solana money into NEAR just to try and build that bag, because I think that after seeing what I've seen now, it's probably a very, very, very good long-term bet. So, I mean, you can choose to follow me, choose to do your own research. Just wanted to give you guys some insight. In about 2 or 3 days, when the conference is finished, we'll drop the NEARCON video, which will summarize everything for you guys. It's going to be amazing. So that's NEARCON. A few other things. So Apecoin have opened their staking. That's why the price has been running for the last couple of days. I love how their staking actually works. Like, you've got you can stake Ape, you can stake Bored Ape Yacht Club with Ape, you can stake Mutant Apes with Ape, and you can also stake Kennel Club with Ape, and you can earn different APYs if you do that. So that's why the staking has gone up. And one thing I did want to show you is that they've played this very smartly, because what they did was they introduced the staking at the same time when the token unlock happens. So you can see that there's a big token unlock. 3% of the token unlock happens in the next 3 days. And so they made an announcement so that no one would dump the token to put the price down. Let's quickly check on the price of Apecoin. Yeah, we can just look at the price. I've been following it. It has had quite a jump in the last few days. It's gone from $4 to $5 is now trading at $5. Okay, so that's where it is. No big. I wouldn't be putting big money into this. It's not a buying opportunity. As I say, we're in a range-bound market. So you look at this market right now. We're in nowhere land in this range. I wouldn't be buying anything. I'd just be waiting. And when we get close to the bottom of this range, when everyone was panicking, that's when I'd be buying. And hopefully we stay in this range. You see, because that's pretty much what the market's doing. There was some other news I think we can look at. OFAC, which remember they sanctioned Tornado Cash. So the first thing is they now published a guideline on how to deal with Tornado Cash. And what they said is you can actually apply to withdraw your money from Tornado Cash if you had money in there before they put the sanctions on, which I think was sometime in August. They also said that like these transactions that people are sending, these 1.1 ETH transactions that are coming from Tornado Cash addresses, they said they're not going to prioritize enforcement of those. You're not allowed to obviously engage in any transaction with Tornado Cash. They've said that. But they keep referring to Tornado Cash as an entity, and it's not an entity, and that's exactly what Coinbase is fighting. So remember now, Coinbase has got our backs. They have funded a legal suit to go up against OFAC and fight against this Tornado Cash sanctioning. Other news today, I don't know if this is today, this is probably yesterday, but this is cool. Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and Citadel have launched a Bitcoin and crypto exchange. They're calling it EDX. So Fidelity bringing in this whole their money. Charles Schwab bringing in their own money. Citadel bringing in their money. So big moves here. They call it EDX. And then I read this. Celsius is supposedly coming up with a plan to revive the firm, and they're calling the plan Kelvin. So I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah, that's pretty much where we are today. That's what I thought I'd bring you. I thought I'd bring you some crypto love on a day like this. So we take one look at the markets, one last look at the markets. I think it's still a bad bath. Bitcoin 20,139. Under 19, under 20, under 19.5. I'd probably start looking to buy and trading this range. NASDAQ down 5.13%, 655 points as we speak. Dow Jones down 3.52%. Yeah, that's it. Got a few more minutes. Let's do some Q&A. If anybody wants to do some Q&A, here I am. A lot's going on. Let's see if there is Q&A. Thank you, bro. I really needed the stream. Here I am, bro, bringing crypto love and crypto wisdom. I'm going to be back here tomorrow, but then Thursday and Friday, I'm not here. Thursday and Friday, I am speaking at the Binance event in Paris. So I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be able to do a show. Someone says, play your song, buddy. I don't even know where my song is. Fred, where's the Ran, He's Our Man song? Fred's not, I don't know where Fred's put it. Arweave. Just keep buying Arweave. Come on, keep buying Arweave. What about pastéis de nata? Unbelievable. I've eaten like 30 since I got you. So I'm starting to put on weight from these things. Happy to see you in Paris, Kazma. We'll see you in Paris. Come on, guys. Let's find the Ran, He's Our Man song. Fred, do you think we can find the Ran, He's Our Man song?
Let me see if I can find it. 1 second.
I can't find it. I think it must be that Jimmy has taken it off again. No, don't want that one. I don't want that one.
Ran, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Ran, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Ran, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Ran, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can.
Josh asked a very good question. He asked, what is the difference, or which one would I rather be putting my money into? Is it going to be Polygon or Near? Polygon is a layer 2. And even with its layer 2, it doesn't have as much speed as Near. And if you look at Near now, Near is a layer 1 and it has that speed. So, you know, if you ask me about coding into a layer 2 on layer 1, obviously I'm going to go layer 1 any day of the week. So there I am. Dirk1 interview. I'm trying to get hold of him. He's ghosting me now. I will get hold of him. I'm going to Singapore at the end of the month. I'll catch him there. All right, fans, fans, and friends. See you guys again tomorrow. Until then, let me leave you with a duck beating on a drum. is give ETH a chance.